Hello to you all. This is Ronny speaking, live from Denmark in Pandrup. I'm happy to be here once again, actually introducing you to all the beautiful stuff that we are actually getting around in these last many weeks since we last spoke. I just came back from a visit in London today. Once again, I can confirm that it's tiring to actually be in the front of OpenLedger, but it's also lots of fun. I feel really that in the last in the last 6 weeks, we basically achieved so many things that allows me to feel very confident about the future. I would like to go through some of these different things with you and basically summarizing all the different events and looking into a little on the different products of ours. So let me just put up the first slide. I'll basically just put up the slides here so you can see what we're talking about. This way you don't see me, but you see more the different things that we're going on, yeah? So let me just see here so that I can also, just a moment. What are we seeing here? Why am I actually seeing this? Boom, boom, boom. Just a moment. That's actually strange. Sim is on our team here. He basically, I have a feeling that I'm sharing my screen in the same time. Just a moment. What is happening here? Patience, please. Wow, that's strange. Okay, well, anyway, then we're just gonna have to take it the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna look in my PowerPoint, and then we take it from there. Because somehow I feel that you were basically getting some of the stuff that there's no point in showing that actually. So anyway, in the last 6 weeks, we've basically seen OpenLedger going on tour. We started out in Shanghai, where we had a meetup with a very good amount of Chinese supporters from the BitShares community. It went extremely well in so many ways. It took off on a Saturday, and the fact that we were 4 businesses, each of us representing different, what can you say, industries on the BitShares platform. For the first time, 4 businesses met up and told their visions about their business for the future. That was apparently the first time that ever happened, and it actually showed the initial progress that we are now also seeing when it comes to everything related to BitShares. That was on the 6th of May, I believe. So right now we are, it's something like 6 weeks now. So that was a kickoff to a lot of different things happening. I spent something like 4 days there meeting 3 different exchanges on top of different business partners. Although some of them I haven't actually concluded anything final yet, I do have a feeling that we will get a lot out of that. One of the big stuff happening from that meetup was that I signed an agreement with Viewfin, who is also an early investor or what can you say? Yeah, an investor in projects like the project Yo-Yo, which we saw really having a lot of traction on the BitShares network lately. He is also the founder of the Zen Gold, which we managed to have a special offer about, and sold something like 9 million tokens within 8 hours. Well, it was actually 24 hours, but yeah, 8 hours promoted. 24 hours and $600,000 worth of Zen Gold added to the 2,000 BTC value that they actually did themselves. So that Zen Gold, which is in my ways, or in my eyes, a similar version, although still a bit raw, but a similar version to the DigixDAO. It is, however, it is then a Chinese version where you see that the DigixDAO was Singapore and London, where you have actually here Shanghai Gold Exchange and the bullions or whatever they're called in Dubai. So that was a slight difference there. The rest is more or less the same. Exciting project. The distribution is happening in this week. We had some issues early this week, but it seems that we're actually kicking off now today with the Zen Gold. So that week in Shanghai actually meant that we managed to come much closer with everything. Viewfin made it possible for OBITS to be launched on their exchange last week, I think it was. And right now there is both BitShares and OBITS on the exchange. It is called ZSSG, if I remember correctly. It's not an easy one to remember actually, but it was, what can you say? The exciting part of this was actually that at the opening, something like 1 million volume suddenly just went through the whole system. OBITS hit a $4 value in that time. So that was a nice reminder of what's possible with OBITS in the future. Now we're coming with, after the Zen Gold, with the same partner. We're actually starting with ZenDAO, which is expected to have its ICO on the 26th. We will send a lot of different material on that. But it only means, and it only underlines the importance of this partnership with two ICOs in this short time introduced on OpenLedger. And in return, we can expect really some nice support to all these different Chinese exchanges or ICO platforms able to promote and present all our different own products. From Shanghai, we went to New York at Consensus, and after Consensus, we went to Seoul. So I'm basically just going to try to make this quite quick. But all over, we had a very nice experience and well reception of everything related to OpenLedger. We managed, just to summarize, in Shanghai, we managed the partnership and a partnership that was able to actually promote and introduce all our different ICOs on Chinese territory. We had in Seoul a very nice presentation to the three biggest exchanges in Korea, and two of them we are in talks with already to eventually have both OBITS and BTS listed. Apart from that, it was also nice to look into the potential of bigger networking with some of the major players in Korea. the consensus on its own was special, because we did manage to go through a lot of talks with different people, and at the very end, we also managed to get our partnership with our Chinese partner listed, and not listed, but showing right in the middle of Times Square with a, on the side of a truck, LED presentation on all sides of the truck. And I think it was like 3 to 4 hours on Times Square, and 2 to 3 hours in front of the Marriott Hotel, right next the door, actually. Very exceptional, very exciting. And the best of it all was that I didn't pay anything for it. That kind of confirmed a little about the beauty of a nice network, nice friends that you do try to pay back by whatever other things. Yeah, it's not always about money when you actually get things done. It is also about friendly gestures and actually maybe helping them out on other tours or other work in the future or in the past. So in the end, it's all a question of listening to what each other's the other part is needing. From this tour, managed eventually to have all our 4 projects, which is the freelancer platform, Get Game, which is the incubator for game developers and game projects in general, and App Trade, which is then the Kickstart of apps, and of course the one to tie up everything, the OCash. I think all of these projects are exciting in so many ways, and I'll try to go through each of them with you, because I think really that they need some nice attention. And I also would like to show you how each of them will affect the BTS ecosystem and allow BTS to grow in an organic way, in a way where you don't have to go out and emphasize on a specific product and telling that this is the one that's going to make the whole difference in the ecosystem. I think it's very important for everybody to understand that the more businesses we build on an ecosystem, for instance, like BTS, a financial platform, the more we actually build of these kinds, the more traction all over we're going to see. And the 4 projects that we are presenting in the coming months from OpenLedger only should be the first of many to come. And I love to be the initiator and to show the way. It's very nice to be like a first mover in all this, but it also does create a certain kind of responsibility, or yeah, it gives you some responsibilities, and it puts some pressure on it. I guess that's what I wanted to say. There's some pressure on delivery, and making sure that every single project is actually going to show and present what we promise. So that is a strong challenge, and I've actually put up 4 challenges on us, and we have some other ones coming up for the next. So of course, there's plenty of things to do. So let me just kick off by saying we got, in the last 6 weeks, we got 4 projects funded with a total of $1.6 million. We were able to generally get enough funds to get all 4 projects up and running, or what can you say, to say that we got the funds we need plus more to actually start the development of all these 4 projects in one go. So that was an excellent way of confirming that we are really heading forward. That happened in the 6 weeks. Now, in the last few days, one of the projects that we've been doing a lot of marketing for is called Internet of Coins. Internet of Coins ended their ICO 2 days ago, I think it was, with a well-funded, what can you say, result of more than $3 million obtained. $3 million compared to the 50 million and the 80 millions and the 150 millions you hear so much about out there in the market. I say to everybody that I actually believe more in those 3 million than the 150 million that we hear. I mean, what is the point anyway? You want funding to finish a product, to actually deliver. So this kind of overfunding, eventually it puts up some other questions. I mean, so generally what I see and what I experience is that if we are able to come up with projects where we are able to help the project raise 3 million, it is really not so important that they didn't get more. Yeah, they don't need more. And a typical example of a product or a project where you actually did not need much to make lots eventually. A typical example is the Stratis, which we see in the market. Stratis got something like £500,000 in funding, and now it's top 10 on CoinMarketCap. Kind of reminded me a little bit of our four projects. I mean, we got an early funding of 4.5 to 500,000 each. And wouldn't that be fun to actually have projects from OpenLedger up in top 20 within a year's time? I'm going for that, I can guarantee you. But if it's going to happen, well, time will show. But I think that the projects we have is actually allowing me to think that it is possible. So I'm really not that hard or that easy to put down in this way. We have, to finish off, the Internet of Coins, of course, is exceptional in the way that with this technology of swapping coins from one currency to another, starting off with these 7 different decentralized exchanges, it made it possible for me to actually allow to think of the possibility of using some of our projects and connecting that with Internet of Coins. So Internet of Coins is not only useful in the sense that BitShares, as one of the first exchanges that will be added, or that will have the hybrid blockchain connected, I mean, it will actually allow us to suddenly communicate and even invite people from all these other decentralized exchanges, allow them to come visit OpenLedger and BitShares, of course, and see what we are able to offer. And it's going to be a much better organic way than whatever else we've seen. And it is, in my way, something like, what do you call that? Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the early way of side chains in so many ways. It is fully decentralized. That is the best part of it, that you actually have the possibility now to swap the values of some assets from one exchange to another, fully decentralized. I would like to point out here that my belief, my hope is that we will have decentralized in the future. I'm offering fiat gateways and crypto gateways simply to offer a complete service. It doesn't mean that this is the one that I'm putting my hat on in the future. I think it's simply a way of being able always to offer the best of everything. So the next one of the projects that actually got funded or is funded well right now and not yet done, there's still something like 7 days or 5 days, no, 7 days left of the CryptVisor project. Already now it's reached something like 2.4 million euro in funding. And we have agreed to enter also to handle their token distribution and even connecting CryptVisor to OpenLedger in so many different ways that I think that in future we'll see a lot of good stuff coming from CryptVisor. And that's all made possible because of the increasing contact that we made. We've learned and found out many different ways of make use of their product. So that will help us in future also. I think that the next days will show us these last, the last part of CryptVisor and all the values coming from there, and we will for sure be promoting the hell out of them. Can you say promoting the heck out of everything possible? I would say it that way, because we're really going to be active in the next coming days for CryptVisor. Furthermore, we've also signed a new contract with Heat Ledger. You could say that this is a competitor to OpenLedger and OBITS, but as you may know already, I don't consider anything a competitor. I consider all of these decentralized exchanges something that we are able to compare ourselves with. That they are all allowing us to see how far or what is the difference between us and them. What do we do good that they don't, or what do they do good that we could actually improve, and so forth. So every time there's a new asset exchange, for instance, appearing, it's not a question of actually just feeling afraid. It's a question of looking at that exchange and perhaps learning from them, adding some nice new technology or whatever. But I never consider a competitor, or I never consider another project a competitor as such in the bad way, because I really consider all kinds of innovation one step further to progress. So it will not only allow to help somebody, but it will help us all to get united. And then we have the Decent launch is also coming up now. The Decent launch has been such a great success in September, October last year, and now they're going to launch this month. I believe they already actually are issuing tokens. It is a very interesting project to see, and the interesting part from our side is, of course, that we made some good money on doing the marketing for them. A very nice part of it is going back to OBITS, BTSR, and ICO. So it will help a lot in this. Just a moment. Yes, let's see. I have this other part. One moment. So just a moment. Somebody's calling me right now in the middle of the show. So anyway, we have the Decent launch. We have the 2 big contracts in pipeline as well. So there's plenty of things to catch on with. Let me just then take you to a little bit of the OCash. This is one of our projects. I could say now that the contract for OCash is signed. We are about to push that to the first phase, where we're going to introduce it as a virtual card We will be putting up website, an app as such, a mobile app for this card as well. And an ITO is expected sometimes in September this year. Very exciting project, and that will allow us to tie all the other projects I'm talking about, tie them together. Get game, that is an expected ITO, something like in October, November. And the interesting part, apart from the whole setup where you are allowed investors to come in and, well, put their bits or invest into exciting games, and the publishers, of course, creating profiles and putting up the whole presentation like any kind of a ICO even. I mean, this will be like the start of an ICO on Get Game, and we will combine that with quarterly hackathons, which we would call hack ICOs. So the hack ICOs, we will basically be presenting as a hackathon, and then the winner will be rewarded with a prize as such, and we put it at a $50,000 prize, which will allow this this lucky winner to actually have not only a special part of it for themselves as an initial winning token, but also it will allow them to have a certificate giving them a complete ITO package as such. So they might have actually won $50,000, but in the end, it may well be 500,000, 1 million, 5 million. Well, only the time will show how much, in fact, they have gained, but it will be a very strong message for anybody when we finish that first one in terms of marketing. So that experience like that on its own will have a great effect on everything. The hack ICO as a term I liked from the moment I heard it from a friend, and basically I think that really defines the future way of funding. Hack ICO. You do a hackathon and you actually combine it with an ICO. And that one will happen something like, I'll catch on that a little later, yeah. Then we have the EDEV. EDEV is also on track. One thing which is coming up pretty soon is a pre-ICO expected in August, where we will actually allow exchanges to join. It will allow us to invite these other decentralized exchanges, thinking of the ones that Internet of Coins already have invited. Imagine the fact that you will actually you'll be able in future to allow people to swap the token of Joy, the one we have on EDEV, to actually swap it between exchanges. Very exciting, and that is part of the reason why I'm having an interest in inviting the other exchanges. And when I say exchanges, I'm thinking like NEM, Ethereum, Waves. I mean, basically all these different decentralized exchanges. We have Next, of course, also Counterparty, Omni. Time will show how many of these will actually have an interest in joining. But the way I see it is that if they don't want to join, that will be their loss. So, and if they join, of course, it will be a win-win situation for everybody involved. So I think that's just I mean, EDEV is the world's first freelancer platform on the blockchain. What doesn't sound nice about that? So I think that's going to be a great seller. The ITO itself is coming up in November, December from the calculations we have made so far. Then we have some some special dates, especially for Get Game, when we, as we have a special up in December. So initially we thought of doing a hackathon, like an early one there, but instead we will simply make a special appearance. I was thinking just like you do the prologue in Tour de France. We're gonna basically create a teaser for the hackathons while we do this meetup in Shanghai in December. That's going to be very exciting. So that the time is going to be something like, from, if I hear correctly, between 10 and 15th of December. Shouldn't be too late, but in the same time, very big. Sounds like there will be more than 2,000 people joining for that meetup. So that's going to be really exciting. The other thing is that in this coming week, from Sunday to Wednesday, we're going to meet up the people from all 4 projects of OpenLedger. We're going to meet up, coordinate our tasks and chores to see and make sure that we are all on the same page. And then we basically can say it's time to kick off and let's go and really start pushing these 4 projects out there. I'm really excited for these 4 projects, and I think that each of them a lot of value. I mean, people are saying all the time that, of course, it's all a question of how much you actually make on the exchanges, which is deciding what is the value. So that is fine, that is possible, and just to put that way or clear, I'm expecting each of them to do minimum $50 million in coin market cap within 1 year from they've been launched. So that's not small money, but that's also why or how I believe them. I see basically the funding of 1.6 million as the kickoff to a total valuation of minimum 200 million. And that's by the end of 2018. So there's a lot of things coming up and happening. Let me see here. Then we have one thing which was quite important is, of course, the snapshots for every single project of eDev, OCash, and GetGame. Snapshot, which will allow us to define the amount of OBITS holders in that specific time. And when we do that snapshot, we will actually be able then to say these people will be able to enjoy a share drop of 5% of our total holdings of each of these projects. So those snapshots will happen in July, August, and September. And it's generally going to be the 10 medium, or what can you say, the 10 days in the middle of each month, which will be the decisive time for this. And as you know, a snapshot is really all a question of making sure that you don't hold your OBITS, for instance, on another exchange like Litecoin or SCCG, etc. at that specific time. It's I mean, I would love to have it out there, but I cannot count them if they're there. In that period of time, you actually need to bring the OBITS home to the BitShares network, yeah. And the snapshot will then allow us to be able to share drop in a later defined time in connection with each ITO. and it's 5%. So when we have the get game, it's 5% of totally 10 million tokens. On eDev, it's 5% of 100 million tokens. And on OCash, it's 5% of 10 million tokens. So those are perhaps one of the reasons why it is not really clever to sell off your OBITs, because each of these tokens will allow you to have some, at least in my point of view, allow you to have a lot of great value coming up in future. And it's all going to be dropped on you if you hold OBITs. And I basically made it possible for as many as possible to have OBITs in the coming months, especially because of this OBITS warrant idea that we proposed. And there's an OBITS warrant auction coming up on the, well, it's actually taking place right now. And it goes in the way that 950,000 OBITS warrants have been made or have been tied to this auction. Joining, who is actually putting their dollars, their BITUSD, to an account called OBITS.WARRENTS, OBITS warrant 2017. You can actually see it in all these news that we have. Anybody contributing will be able to share this 950,000. The idea is, of course, that if there's not so many who participates, at the moment I think there's 300,000 people, 300,000 BITUSD participating on this account. But on this 300,000 will, of course, then be the amount that you use when you actually distribute on the holders sending those BITUSD. 300,000 allows you actually to say that 1,950,000, it's basically what, 30 cents? This is nothing. I mean, OBITS is sold right now at 2, and as I mentioned before, at that special night, it was $4, and right now it's 30 cents. So I have a feeling that there's going to be a nice amount of people, of course, joining in at the very end of this auction. It ends at 9 a.m. Pacific time on the 25th. But no matter what, I think you should join. If you listen, if you hear this one, I think actually you should join this auction, because not only does it allow you to take place in getting this specific amount of OBITS warrants, it will allow you to say, or to actually support the whole ecosystem. What happens is this amount that is collected, it will be used on the 2nd of July to buy back and burn OBITS. So you have here the difference between a low amount will give you a small unit price of OBITS, but it will also be then a small amount that will be used for buyback and burn. Thus, it will be a small amount that will be used for reducing supply and maybe pushing the price up. If there's a lot of support, which might well be, imagine 1 million or even 2 million, $2 million in contribution on this account, it's still an average price of $2 each. And that's what we have at the moment. Then you pay 16 cents extra. Well, that's $2.16. But you have $2 million that is going to be used for the buyback and burn. So I think that's an interesting catch in this. It will really, it is an engine on its own. And I think, to me, it's not so important what the result becomes right now, but it does allow me to let all the OBITs come out in public. it allows me to say then that once we finished this auction, all the total of 18.3 million OBITs that we actually issued back in December 2015, I think it was, they are now out in public, and we are able to invite people then to start voting on a general basis. And the first vote will happen right after the buyback and burn time on the 2nd of July. Present a vote for all OBITS holders, discussing on future we're going to do on the 2nd of the month. Are we going to do a full buyback and burn, or are we going to do a full dividend or share drop of BTS and BTC, or are we going to do a mix, like 50% share drop and 50% buyback and burn? I mean, personally, I like the last one. Yeah, buyback and burn, and other part is share dropping. It allows you to benefit from the good from everything. So this is actually where we are at the moment. I would like to emphasize on this auction happening and on the 25th. I think anybody who joins will benefit one way or the other, either in a low price of OBITs, or maybe in an average price of OBITs, but then with a heck of a buyback and burn. Don't forget, we did 500,000 on the 2nd of June. I think we're going to do more in the 2nd of July. And to sum it all up, I think that these projects that we have here, these 4 projects, they are each unique because they are a business case on its own, and they are each built on the BitShares network. They're going to be the first business cases finalized on the BitShares network. This financial financial unique tool that will allow everybody to say afterwards, wow, so this is possible on BitShares network, and we're going to be the first. So I think that when you then add the fact that every single one of these projects, I mean, EDEV is going to have the vested amount account, or basically all the funds coming in, may come in different cryptocurrencies and fiat, etc. But when it's put in an escrow account, it will actually be exchanged or changed into BitUSD. You know it, right? All these are funds. I mean, we're talking EDEV, which my target is actually 1 million signups by the end of 2018. Yes, you hear me say 2018 many times, but actually there's a milestone in my mind which says end of 2018. Everybody, well, never forget about OpenLedger. So I'm really hoping and putting nice pressure on myself in 2017 and 2018. But on top, it allows me also to say that with an expected 1 million signups, there is a very nice expected amount of, what can you say, liquidity to be formed and placed inside the BitShares network. All of that is going to be BitUSD. It's going to be backed by BitShares. So you can count yourself. Imagine that you have 1 million users. I would say take just 1% of them. So it is what? 10,000 users. And then you say 10,000 times $1,000. Then at least you have a nice base of what we're talking here. What is that actually? 100,000, that's 1 million, that's 10 million. Okay, So 10 million BITUSD tied up as a minimum because of EDEV. 10 million means also that that's like the $25 million tied up in BitShares. Okay, that was EDEV. Then you have, which I haven't actually mentioned yet, but AppTrade, the Kickstarter of apps, with more than one, maybe even 10 million. No, that's even, the expectations are very high. Let's put it this way with the AppTrade. So the amounts of BitUSD tied into that project eventually, after 1 year, I would say 1 year after the launch. So we most probably speaking, they will kick in the end of 2018. Really, the results, wow, it's gonna be lots. This is just imagining, like we said before, just imagine a stock exchange on the BitShares network, a stock exchange of apps. The values, the importance coming in from all these different exciting apps that we are not only bringing in as finished products, but also bringing in from the Get Game, the incubator of. So exciting times. This AppTrade will for sure be a mastodon on BitShares network in future, and I'm sure it will also be one of the great use cases to so many other businesses afterwards of what is actually possible when you believe in the project hard enough. Because AppTrade has had issues, and of course we all learn on how to present it and how to do it. And what we find out here is, of course, that if you believe and if you actually are able to present it in the right way to the right people at the right time, then you wind up with actually having the necessary funds to build the platform and then do another ITO. So there will be an ITO coming up on AppTrade, but we will do it in the way that we will have the platform generally done already so that everybody can see what is actually going on. And then, of course, we will be doing a new ITO, because the important part of AppTrade is funding to go out there and also buy apps from different brokers. This is actually part of building those portfolios of apps, and we will have professional brokers handling each of those portfolios. So we have Get Game, of course. Also, it's got to be possible for you to imagine that any kind of game, we're speaking virtual reality, augmented reality, or even games on the way of games related or based on blockchain. I mean, I can tell you that Dynamis is the first project of Get Game. Dynamis is an augmented reality game, and it's going to show a lot of what can you say, impact in this end part of 2017 and also 2018. It's going to be a great prototype for the Get Game and what is possible from here. Then we have another one coming up to offer 2 projects on Get Game. And everything coming in and being the centralized currency there, apart from the reality token of Get Game, that would be, and that will be, BitUSD. So we have BitUSD on Get Game, on AppTrade, as well as on EDEV. And then to tie it all up, how are you going to get paid out? How do you get the money into your pockets on all of these platforms? Well, we're going to introduce you to the OCash, this all-in-one payment card, which will allow you to actually make a withdrawal. This is the early phase we're talking. Make a withdrawal of the BIT.USD as a simply put in a similar way as if you make a withdrawal of fiat. You make a withdrawal of the BIT.USD to your payment card, and off you go. You are ready to actually use it. And you don't even need a bank account for that. I mean, this is not, it's not a big thing, but I do think it's very important in the way that you have a stable coin like the BIT.USD, and you are actually able, without changing it, you are able to simply just send it from your own account to a master account of the Okash, from where we basically will say, okay, well received. Now we're going to add the similar equivalent amount to your payment card, and you are ready to spend. The second phase, this is the first phase. This phase is actually what we're going to go out and use as a kind of an alpha stage or even a prototype of an ITO for Okash. So the ITO will be very much based on the results of the second phase. Is the blockchain-based phase, where we are going to do that instant conversion from BIT.USD and OBITS. That is the goal initially. OBITS to fiat via the payment card. It's gonna be using the permission-based multi-sig operations and whatever. I'm not so much into this as such, but I do have confirmation, and it allows me to then think, we know about Coinspan card, actually able to take it one step further and say, this is not only Bitcoin, but this is possible to do it with. To do it on stable coins and even user-issued assets like OBITS. Of course, OBITS, we can do it only because I will make sure that there is a necessary liquidity to always, support it. But that's again where the funding comes in, because the funding on every single of these projects, a nice part of that will be used initially to support all these kinds of activities. It would be put as a buy wall, really supporting the use of Okash, supporting any kind of other, payout or exchange, or to actually sell their reality token or the Joy token or the Okash for that matter, or even the APPX token. They will all be possible to do because of that funding that we got through the ICOs, where we're going to use one part for a general market making function, and another part we will be using for marketing, and a third part, well, each of the products, what is then used in this case, for instance, Get Game for the special prizes, and even preparing and paying for the hackathons themselves. So all in all, basically the message I wanted to say tonight is that OpenLedger has what nobody else actually at the moment has managed to do at the for the time being, at least. We managed to come up now with 4 projects that's going to be built on top of the blockchain for business products as such. So that should be allowing us to be out there as early movers. So when people speak about, I think even Hero, I mean, we all know about Hero, smart coin that is being introduced on the BitShares network at the moment. I would say that Hero stands less chance to succeed if it wasn't because of projects, I mean businesses, whatever, that you actually have introduced on the BitShares network, like we have on the 4 projects right now. Those things, those unique, each of them will allow Hero to succeed. So it might actually put in another way and saying that I see it is actually that every single part of all of this has a unique, piece of the game. We cannot go in and pinpoint one and saying that one is gonna make the whole thing happen. It doesn't happen like that. Has an impact, and every single thing we're gonna really we can to push so that we are at the end able to say Hero is gonna be a success. And I'm happy to say, and actually to finish off this program tonight by saying that OpenLedger make Hero a success. That is actually all for tonight. I would like to, of course, always have to say that OBITS is the final player in all of this. So if you haven't got OBITS already, I suggest you actually go in and join the auction and take part in what I would call a beautiful blockchain future with OpenLedger. May OBITS be with you.